What is up, guys? This is Zach from Anglers Escape, and today I'm on the Lake of the Ozarks. This is actually my last morning here. I caught a ton of blue catfish and channel catfish over the last few days. I want to show you all those clips, but first I want to show you what I was doing so you can kind of learn from this video. So the first thing I was doing is using worms for everything. So I was catching all these catfish directly or indirectly by worms. So what I mean with that is I had two setups. One was for 1 to 5 pound catfish, and this I was just using 15-20 pound test line, a little bit of a sliding weight to a swivel, so I was fishing on the bottom, and then a leader that's about a foot to a size 1/0 hook. Now this is just a standard J hook. I also use the size 1/0 circle hooks, but I hook on a whole nightcrawler onto that hook, and I caught a lot of 1 to 5 pound channel and blue catfish with just the worms. However, I caught a lot of the bigger catfish on bait that I caught with the worms, and so in the shallows over there, I was using these worms under a little bobber and 4 pound test line to catch bluegill and sunfish. And a lot of my bigger catfish this weekend came on those cut bluegill and sunfish. And so those guys I went ahead and I used on a setup with 60 pound braid or 50 pound monofilaments. But what I have here is just a 2 ounce sinker. Again, it's a sliding sinker, so when the fish starts to take that bait, they initially don't feel any resistance. I got my bare swivel, and then I got about a 1.5 foot leader to a size 5/0 to 10/0 circle hook, depending on how big of a fish piece I'm hooking. If I'm using cut bait, a 1x1 inch or 1x2 inch piece of bait, I'll use a 5/0. If I'm using a live bait, I'm usually using a size 7/0 to 10/0 hook. But that's basically my setup this weekend. The key was the worms, and that's what I was using. And I want to go ahead and just do a little shout out for the book I wrote on catfishing. So the book I wrote for catfishing is good for pond fishing, lake fishing, river fishing, all different types of catfishing, all the different baits, all the different ways to catch the baits, all the different fishing tactics. So I hope you guys check out this book, and I'll go ahead and post a link in the video description. So as always, guys, I wish you the best of luck fishing, and I hope you enjoy these clips. Yeah. This guy took a big old piece of sunfish. Huh. Yeah. Channel catfish, got them on a 3/0 circle hook using a little bit of sunfish. It was actually a pretty big piece of sunfish. So go ahead, throw them in the fish bucket, and have some fish tacos tonight. Start getting the crappie and catfish together for a good dinner tonight. Okay. So I casted it out that way. Keep reeling. All right, more for the fish fry. Oh yeah, you do got one. Reel them in, reel them in. We need that fish. Wait, which line is it on?
That one.
Oh well, just keep bringing them in. It's a good one. Nice blue catfish. Let's get him up here. Good catch, Kylie. Got him on the 3/0 circle hook. A little bit of cut sunfish trying to pee on us. But more for the fish fry. All right, guys, we got another catfish on. My sister Kenzie's gonna reel it in. Kylie got the last one. Let's see what it is. Something's definitely on, but it shouldn't get off since we got a 100-pound test line. So just keep the line tight, Kenzie. Just don't let it go slack, because that hook can kind of pull out sometimes when it goes slack. But we're fishing with a cut piece of sunfish that we caught on a little inline spinner a little bit ago on 4-pound test line. It's a nice little channel. Let's just drag him up onto the dock. Another, oh, he really swallowed it, but let's get him on here. And this will be catfish number 3 today for our fish tacos later tonight. But nice size channel, Kinsey. Congrats. It's like a wave pool out here, Lake of the Ozarks on Labor Day weekends. But we'll add him onto the stringer. Alright guys, the key to catfishing success is worms. So worms are great for those 1 to 3 pound catfish, but if you want to get the bigger ones, you need worms anyway, because what you're going to want to do is get a light action rod and reel. This is 4-pound test line, get a little bit of split shot. A lot of times I'll put it under a bobber about 3 feet down. Then just use a really small piece of worm, and then you'll want to catch some bluegill or some sunfish, and you can cut those up or use them live for the bigger catfish. So worms work great directly for the smaller catfish, and they work great for catching the bait for the bigger catfish. So really all you need is worms at the end of the day when you're at your bait and tackle shop. But we'll go ahead, cast this out here, see if we can't catch ourselves a bluegill or sunfish or something. And again, a lot of times I like to fish with the bobber, but in this case I can just drop it straight down from this bridge. And there we go, there's a nice little sunfish. And this guy is about the perfect size for a live catfish. So flathead really like live sunfish and bluegill, but the blue catfish and channel catfish love the cut bait as well. Most of the catfish I've been catching today have been on cuts instead of live bluegill, so I'll probably cut this guy up. But as you can see, I'm just using a real small piece of worm. The worm works great if you use a whole nightcrawler for those smaller catfish, but the bigger ones today I'm catching on these live sunfish, which I'm using the worms. So worms is really your universal bait, and that's what I'm catching all the smaller catfish on directly with the worms, and the bigger catfish I'm indirectly catching with the worms by catching the bait fish with the worm, and then getting some nice cut baits out of it. So let's see if we have some more luck. All right, looks like we have another catfish on using a really small piece of sunfish. My youngest sister Kylie's gonna reel them in. Let's see what we got. It's like a wave pool out here. Ooh, another nice channel or blue catfish, one of the two. We only got 12-pound test line on this one, so we gotta be a little more careful. Up, up. Oh, we got him. Kylie, all right, hold up your catch. Here we go. This is a nice blue catfish. Good job, Kylie. Go ahead and add him to the stringer for the fish fry. Here's a little bonus clip. I'm sitting here on the dock just doing some jigging and got a nice little baby flathead catfish. I was actually crappie fishing with this jig, but a 4-pound test line, fun little fighter, beautiful little flathead, but we'll go ahead and get him back in the water. With a piece of cut bluegill or sunfish, about a 2x2-inch piece on a 4-aught circle hook. I think we got something on. Was just swimming when I saw the pole going. So I'm a little out of breath, but another nice catfish. Let's get him in here. It's a nice channel. I think we got plenty of fish for those fish tacos or fish burritos, but beautiful channel catfish using a 2-ounce weight. Basically I have 30-pound monofilament right here, but when I cast out, when the fish starts taking that line, it doesn't feel any resistance because this weight's free sliding to a swivel. Size 1 swivel, then I got about a 12-inch leader, and this guy swallowed that 2x2-inch piece of cut sunfish, but there's a 4-aught circle in there. We'll go ahead and add this guy to the stringer. Alright guys, nice stringer of catfish. Me and my sisters caught a good 5 or so catfish today. We're gonna go ahead and fillet these guys up. We got some blue catfish and some channel catfish. But we'll go ahead and these will make some great fish tacos later on. And we'll go ahead and I got an electric fillet knife and fillet them real quick, and good mess of fish all on worms or on what I caught with the worms, which was the sunfish and bluegill. So worms are really your key, and we'll go ahead and make some nice fish tacos. Alright, so I got the fish. I cooked it at 375 for about 20 minutes in the oven. You can see all the catfish fillets. I already ate 2 of the fillets, but basically I used New Orleans Cajun seasoning as well as some roasted garlic and herb seasoning on the others. But these turned out really nicely. You know when they're done, when they flake real easily with a fork. But I'll go ahead and try a piece here, and this is some excellent fish. There's some blue catfish and some channel catfish in here. But you can see that just flakes and tears real easily. So I'll go ahead and grab a nice piece. And that is so good. Nothing beats fresh catfish. Alright guys, so I'm down here the next morning checking my poles. I've labeled them, left them in overnight. This bluegill's still alive. As again, I caught him on worms. I went ahead and trimmed up his dorsal fin so the hook didn't hook back into it. It increases your catch ratio a little bit. But he was out there all night swimming. Unfortunately, nothing came along, but these are great baits. And last night I had a nice fish that got off on a live bluegill, but they're perfect for this flathead catfish. I usually hook them right below the back fin. And I'll go ahead, and since it's morning, I don't think I'm going to get any more bites, and we're about to head in for the day. I'm going to go ahead and just cut them up and save them for bait later. But this is the first setup. Again, I'm using 65-pound test line, sliding sinker. And this is a 2-ounce sinker to a barrel swivel, and then I got about a 1.5 foot leader to a 5/0 circle, and I use anywhere from 5/0 to 10/0 for live bait, depending on how big they are. But again, I'm using only worms. I only came with worms. I didn't have any other baits, and then the worms I used to catch these bluegill and sunfish. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching. Okay, so if I'm not using the live bluegill or sunfish, I'm using cut bait. This is about a 2" by 1" piece. I had it on there. I caught a lot of the channels in blue catfish on the cut bait actually this last time. But these are great baits. You really want to make sure that hook tip's exposed. But again, I'm going to put this all in my book, all these fishing tips. These tips today are mainly for lake fishing for catfish, but I have a lot of tips for pond fishing, river fishing, all different types of fishing for catfish, and they're all in my book. It's $5, and I'll go ahead and post a link to that in the end of my video. But I hope you guys learned something here today, and you'll try out some of these tips. And as always, good luck fishing. Same